This presentation reviews the use of modals to make present time guesses or to come to conclusions. The use of these modals is different from how we have used the same modals in other situations. In other words, one modal can have different meanings. In this presentation, we are looking at modals we use to make guesses about situations. We can use modals like might, may, could, must, and have to make a guess about a situation. Sometimes we have a lot of information and we can come to a conclusion. We have a lot of certainty about our guess. Sometimes we only have a little bit of information and we are less sure. So if we want to show that we are almost 100% positive about our guess, we can use must or have to in the affirmative and can't, couldn't, or must not in the negative. If we're not so sure, we can use may, might, or could in the affirmative and may not and might not in the negative. Let's look at some examples. This is a really nice vacation resort. It must cost a lot to stay at this resort. A room at that resort has to cost at least $100 a night. When I say it must cost a lot, I mean that I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like a very expensive place. In these sentences, I'm saying I think it costs a lot. My past experience tells me that a beautiful resort on the beach with a nice pool and a nice place to relax is pretty expensive. Why is this man here? I'm not so sure. He might not have a place to stay. He could be lost. He may have an appointment with a friend. He could be waiting for a bus. In these situations, I'm not so sure about why this man is here. I can come up with some ideas, and all of them are possible or reasonable. However, they are still guesses because I don't have a lot of information. The recipe for this cake calls for 14 cups of sugar. I am almost certain that it must be very sweet. It has to have a lot of calories in one slice. Again, I'm almost 100% certain that this cake is sweet. It must be sweet because it has so much sugar in it. Also, anything with that much sugar will have a lot of calories. I know that sugar has a lot of calories, so this cake must have a lot of calories also. It is my conclusion about the cake. Where's Maria? She's an excellent student and never misses class. She might be sick. Her bus could be late. She may think it's Saturday. Here's another situation in which I don't have enough information to be really sure, so I can only guess why Maria is not here. All of these sentences could be true. They're all guesses. For questions, use can or could. Could this really happen? Can this really happen? There is no difference in these two questions. Be careful though. Could still refers to the present time here, not past. Could this man really be floating? He couldn't be. I know this man can't be floating. It's impossible. However, I'm not 100% sure until I see how he is doing the trick. Could this man be a superhero? Let's look at how we use the negative forms of these. With each example, look at the kind of information you have that makes you either come to a conclusion, which means you are almost 100% sure, or that makes you guess and have a few different possibilities. Use can and couldn't if you are almost 100% sure something is impossible. That can't be Joe. He flew to Australia yesterday. I took him to the airport and watched him leave. Use must not if you are less sure that something is impossible. This computer is slow. There must not be enough memory. This is a good possibility, but it could be a virus that is making it slow. So now we're not as sure. Certainly not as sure as we were in number 1. And then finally, we're going to use may not and might not when you are unsure about this situation. Linda didn't sign up for classes this semester. She might not have a lot of money. She may not be interested in school anymore. She might not want to leave her new job. I really don't know why. So in this situation, I don't have a good reason or a good explanation. So I'm going to give a few different possibilities. And to do that, I'm using may not and might not. That's the end of this presentation.